So the first class of college-bound students graduating from college occurred in 2012. Since then, 340 college-bound students have graduated from college. College-bound gets their students to and through college at a rate of 500%, it's a big number, 500% greater than their low-income, first-generation peers. In discussions with some of those 340 college graduates, 90% of them have said that they intend on sending their kids to college. And in a number that frankly shocked me, 60% of those people are already saving money for their kids' college education. When you talk about generational change, that's generational change happening in the last 10 years. That's amazing to me. There are currently 400 students in the college-bound to and through college program, and that number grows every year. I want to talk a little bit about what's behind those numbers, why it's so good, and why it's been so successful. And I'll talk about it a little bit anecdotally. When I was 8, my mother, my special needs sister, and I, through a series of unfortunate circumstances, found ourselves living in rural upstate New York at the end of a long dirt road in a house with no electricity or running water. When I say rural, there would end up being 50 kids in my public high school graduating class. Almost 20% of those kids are already dead. Victims of that same combination of drugs, alcohol, violence, and lack of access to good medical care that plagues the cohort of lower socioeconomic group that college-bound draws most of its students from. The percentage chance of that 8-year-old standing on this stage was pretty abysmal. In 7th grade, a social studies teacher saw something in that hobbit-sized 7th grader and asked me to be the voice of the high school's basketball team and other all-school events. School was, 7 through 12 was in one grade, one building. There's not a lot of school there. But in any event, a door had started to swing open for me, and there were possibilities. In 11th grade, angry and frustrated, they had been beaten yet again by a kid from the rival school in the 800. My track coach, who taught a number of my classes also, sat me down and in a discussion that I did my best to ignore at the time, but still reverberates with me, told me that it was obvious that I was meant for larger things than the Schoharie County League Championship. And it was about time that I recognized it and started doing something about it. My senior year, my English teacher told me, it's time to start thinking about colleges, and I will help you write the essay. It was recommended that I apply to a small liberal arts school really not very far from my hometown. I applied to that one school. When I got to campus, one of my first meetings was with the financial aid department. I had done most of that paperwork by myself, and it, of course, was a mess. It was just a disaster. But the people in the financial aid department worked very hard with me, found me some additional grants and loans, and got me a job with the campus library so that I could basically stay in school. At the end of my first semester, my freshman year, the woman who I worked with in the library put me in touch with the guy who ran part of the food service industry on campus and got me a job there to help me subsidize my meal plan. My sophomore year, that same gentleman rather sternly told me that my burgeoning relationship with alcohol, that was mostly free because of my position as a manager of the pizza place, was not going to go well for me. Drinking age was 18. It was still legal, but it was not going to go well. And that I needed to get my act together. In my junior year, one of the professors of political science offered me a job as a research assistant. At the end of that summer, leading into my senior year, he recommended to me, because he had taught there several years earlier while on sabbatical, that I apply to law school at Washington University in St. Louis, Missouri, a school I had never heard of before that day. I tell you that long, sort of meandering story because College Bound is, every day, because of the dedication and hard work of its staff, and because of the generosity of you, the College Bound community, College Bound is every day to every one of those 400 kids exactly what the people I just mentioned to you were to me. What makes College Bound so successful and why those numbers are so good is because at its heart, what College Bound is that hand on the shoulder that stabilizes these kids when they falter. And they will falter. It is that gentle push in the back that makes them move forward when they hesitate. And they hesitate. Ultimately, College Bound is that voice in their head that says, you can do this. Go. Go. And they do go. They go to and through college, and they become integral to the future and the fabric of our St. Louis community and beyond. That is why I support College Bound and why I'm so thankful that all of you do as well.